So I'm going to start it off with a quick invocation. So Dr. Norris is going to help me to introduce that portion.
For our invocation this afternoon will be performed from San Francisco by our dear friend, the Reverend Leela Rajani Sinha.
We gather today to start a new chapter in the life of the Maine Osteopathic Association, to inaugurate Dr. Brian Kaufman as new president, and with him, as with every new president, a new beginning. Let us bless this moment together, and let us call blessings down upon him. May he be strong to bring the power of medicine, the power of collective action, and the power of privilege and voice to bear on all concerns that arise. May he be gentle when gentle is called for. May he be firm when firmness is required. May he have the courage and wisdom to have difficult conversations and to navigate challenging situations. May he know when to speak and when to be silent, when to rise up and lead, and when and how to elevate other voices. May he invite beauty. May he be inspired with unlikely and elegant solutions. May the members of the Maine Osteopathic Association flourish and grow under his leadership. And may he move the Maine Osteopathic Association into its next, most auspicious, necessary, and forward-thinking form. For each time in a life is a time for movement. Each time is an opportunity for right thought and right action. And in each of these times, all people may do their small part for the greater whole. May Dr. Kaufman have the blessings of these people gathered and the long history of people who have come before him, and may he and his presidency be blessed, be wise, and be true. By the grace of this gathered company, and in the name of the sacred that upholds and uplifts us all, amen.
Thank you for that from the great Reverend. So we are going to kick it back to our current president. You've seen a precursor to come from Dr. Kaufman, who will take the oath later on. But I'm going to invite Dr. Scatia back up to the stage.
This guy has done an incredible amount of work for the MOA over many years. Right now, he's head of the legislative committee. He's been treasurer in the past, worked on the program committee, medical economics committee. He plays a fantastic guitar. Everything MOA, this guy is going to be a fantastic president. So it'll be in good hands. So please, Dr. Boozer and Dr. Ely, please come up.
You, Brian Kaufman, DO, have been elected by the members of your association to the high office of president. With this office goes the responsibility for the success of the policies and objectives of the Maine Osteopathic Association.
You are charged with the task of providing leadership that will bring your state association before the public, before health officials, educators, legislators, and regulatory agencies.
You are charged with the responsibility of naming able committee leadership that will diligently carry out the activities assigned to the committees and successfully developing and promoting the programs of the Maine Osteopathic Association.
And we know that you will serve your association well and will accept these responsibilities to that end. And you will do the utmost to bring great credit to the osteopathic profession during your term in office. So now, Dr. Kaufman, will you please raise your right hand and attest to the oath of office? Please repeat after me. I hereby swear or affirm.
I hereby swear or affirm
That I, Brian Kaufman, D.O.
that I, Brian Kaufman, D.O.
will do all in my power
will do all in my power
to uphold the bylaws of the Maine Osteopathic Association.
to uphold the bylaws of the Maine Osteopathic Association.
That during my term,
That during my term,
I will carry out all the duties of president
I will carry out all the duties of president
to the best of my abilities.
to the best of my abilities.
And that I will deal justly, fairly, and impartially
And that I will
Deal.
I will deal justly, fairly, and impartially
In all matters which come before me.
in all matters which come before me.
This I solemnly pledge.
This I solemnly pledge to you all.
On behalf of the AOA and the Maine Osteopathic Association, it is my pleasure and privilege to present you this gavel of authority. Use it well to administer your duties as president of the Maine Osteopathic Association. Congratulations.
Thank you, board.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Thank you, Dr. Ely.
may we now present our friend and colleague, Dr. Brian Kaufman, the president of the Maine Osteopathic Association.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for being here and sticking with us through all of this. I wanted to mention, if I'm clearing my throat a lot, I have to share that this morning, as I was getting ready to come down and see Dr. Fowley Mock give her talk, I aspirated on my toothpaste, and as I was choking and wheezing and coughing in my room, my cough and everything was minty fresh. So, and then when I came down, I ran into Dr. Ely, who was talking to me, and I could barely say anything. And poor Dr. Ely was probably getting a blast of minty freshness. So, if I do that. Anyway, I wanted to thank some people, all of you for being here. I did want to thank Claire Berger and Amanda Richards for their tireless efforts, always. The board, who's always worked so hard to better our profession. Dave Scaccia, our outgoing president, who has provided guidance and leadership through a really trying time. All of my mentors, all of my friends, my family, siblings, David, Pam, thank you for being here. My niece, Rebecca, who traveled all the way from Austin, good call. My kids, who are a never-ending source of fun and who always make me proud. That's right, ham it up. And lastly, my biggest supporter and sounding board, my better half, soulmate, partner in life and crime, the lovely and amazing past president of the MOA, Dr. Meredith Norris, who is, whose vocabulary and intellect is both daunting but makes me a better person. So, have fun. It was Thanksgiving in Massachusetts at my new girlfriend's parents' house. I was there with her 3 kids, and the parents asked the kids to make play settings. So they set about this creative task, and they did a great job. They used pictures of each of us and kind of boiled down our essence to a little thought bubble next to our names. And mine was a smiling picture of me, which I don't even know where they got, but my bubble simply said, "Have fun." And this was their distillation of me at the time, and I didn't recognize it then, but really have come to realize how appropriate this impression is. I started playing guitar when I was 9 years old, although at the time you probably wouldn't appreciate what I played as music. God knows my family suffered much with all of my practicing. But I played hours in, hours out, and it never really felt like work. The hours certainly went by, the years went by, because I was doing something that I loved. And what I learned later was that if you're trying to reach a goal, if you're trying to accomplish something, even putting in long hours, if the engine that fuels your work is joy and fun, it doesn't feel like work. I grew up in New York on Long Island, and as a young teen started to notice girls and my place among the kids around me, and I wanted to be cool, to be part of a group. I started hanging out with a rougher, less motivated crowd, got into trouble, dropped my grades, the typical story. Spent time in detention, but throughout this time, my passion for music would fuel my cutting school to play with my band. So I was still being productive. I would write a song or play music, and it seemed to give me what I needed for my soul. It helped me find connection, joy, and contentment. I was 17 the first time I saw Eddie Van Halen play guitar, and by this point I had a bunch of guitar heroes, but what struck me was the look on Eddie's face when he performed. And some 35 years later, while seeing the Van Halen reunion tour with Diamond Dave, my girlfriend from Thanksgiving, spoiler alert, she's my wife now, summed it up brilliantly when she spoke about the joyous look on Eddie's face when he performed. And thinking about this, I realized that although there are many excellent artists and guitarists and musicians, the ones that get set apart, the great ones, are the ones that can do it with joy, that make us feel that joy when they're performing or reading or whatever it is they're doing. And in my opinion, this is what allows them to really become great, because it fuels the long hours, it fuels the lackluster moments, and it opens a way for creativity to cause progression and change. In junior high school, this 180-degree turn that I took detoured my life, and although it took years to come out of it, it was a much rockier path and a whole lot more work. But I did learn along the way that just putting your head down and gutting it out, although you sometimes have to do that for short-term goals, isn't going to get the job done. It doesn't get you to the bigger goals without holding on to some of that spark that fuels you. Changing an outcome takes energy, time, and persistence, and to sustain this, you need to have fun while you're at it, or it's a long, grueling journey. The spark, the joy, the fun that I found in moments is what allowed me to move forward and to eventually go from a homeless teen to be here with you today. And I want to make clear that when I'm speaking about fun, I'm not talking about amusement. I'm not talking about that. What I mean is joy, passion, exuberance, enthusiasm. It's the fire that lights your soul and excites you. I put myself through college, and one day my roommate showed me a brochure from medical school in Maine. It pictured a guy with cuffed chinos walking on a beach, and I thought, now that would be a fun place to go. I got curious about osteopathic medicine, and the more I learned, the more excited I got. Medicine had seemed like a good job, but osteopathic medicine seemed inspired, and I wanted that. Once I was attending Unicom, I learned the basics of medicine, physiology, anatomy, OMM, and I observed that learning all these basics, to me, was like practicing the scales on the guitar. When I watched clinicians treating their patients, either in the hospital or in the clinic or in the OMM clinic, to me, what I was watching then was they were making music. They were putting all those pieces together and playing a piece of music. And again, I wanted that. I was introduced to the MOA as a teaching fellow, and again, had a great time. As an attending, my new girlfriend, spoiler alert, got me involved, and the people I encountered were more like friends than colleagues. They were more a family than simply members of a group. And this feeling when attending these events showed me who we are. And who are we? We're a tribe of physicians, a tribe of osteopathic physicians, and beyond that, we're osteopathic physicians in Maine, a unique group of individuals that meets twice a year to learn, complain, plan, joke, socialize, and generally try to improve our collective lot. I've gotten to know many of you through the years and feel privileged to have done so. The MOA has continued evolving even in the short time I've been involved. We face shifts in our identity and our profession, from practice expansion issues, insurance contraction issues, large health systems changing the practice environment in Maine, and some employers creating hostile workplaces for some of our members. These issues affect many, if not all of us. And then this historic past year and a half. None of us have ever lived through anything like this. And we've all suffered as these changes came through our front door uninvited. Some of you have literally been risking your lives daily to treat your patients. And this is the first time in a year and a half that we've been able to meet in person, safely. Despite all this, the MOA has remained steady, And we've continued meeting, planning, putting on our conferences, and we've evolved because we know what we do matters and what we do helps our family. Many of you still maintain solo practices and work ridiculously hard. You take care of your patients, and it's getting increasingly more difficult. Our autonomy is being diminished. We face employers, insurers, management who treat us as errant children, widgets to be replaced, and we've seen our practices increasingly restricted by non-physicians. We've been devalued in both dollars and respect, despite increased responsibility, increased accountability, and increased hostility from governmental agencies. And oy vey, don't get me started on insurance. Note to self, don't put oy vey in there. 2 years ago, I found myself inundated with increasing headaches, a host of issues, and decreasing remuneration. I closed my private practice because it no longer brought any joy or fun. And I couldn't really face my days with that. Osteopathic physicians are facing a personality crisis of identity. GME and medical licensing boards are unifying, which can be positive changes. But as it puts us on a level field with our non-osteopathic colleagues and brings increased recognition with representation, we illuminate our sameness, and in that light, our distinctiveness is threatened. This year, issues of race, color, religion, ethnicity have once again come to the forefront of our country, our state, and our practices. The MOA has been looking at these issues such as, what is bias? What does it mean, and what do we do? How do we become more inclusive? How do we identify and work against our own biases, and who do we want to be as an organization? We formed a task force to examine these issues and to find ways to help each other through some uncomfortable self-examination, because these issues affect all of us, our workplaces, our families, and our MOA family. And we have a responsibility to help those that identify as peoples of color, as trans, non-binary, non-Christian, or anything else that may differ from the perceived majority, because if it affects one of us, it affects all of us. Even in our MOA community, we have members who have endured these issues, and we need them to know that their family will fight for them and work to protect them. But that's exactly the reason why I agreed to be president, because I believe in my osteopathic family, in my colleagues, and in my tribe. I believe that what we do makes a difference, and I believe that we can solve these challenges. And the folks in this room, osteopathic physicians from Maine, are the best suited to make those changes. Because although we're a small group from a small state, we have a lot of heart. And around the country, they know the DOs in Maine rock. So who better to conquer these challenges? So here's my pitch. I encourage everyone to look for what excites you about medicine, about osteopathy, about working in Maine, what you feel passionate about, and own it. Let's rediscover where the heart of what we do resides, the spark, the enthusiasm, and reclaim it for ourselves and our profession. Let's create change that makes a difference and have fun doing it. I ask all of you to get involved, to sacrifice some of your time and help the MOA and me help you to reshape osteopathic medical practice to what we want. Remember Jerry Maguire? Right? Help me help you. The athlete rediscovers the passion for the game, and it gets him to his goal. Because putting your head down and plodding through your days won't do it. Doing a great job navigating the ever-complex medical systems for your patient and doing 10 more prior authorizations won't do it. Anger and frustration won't get it done. So let's go forward together with unflinching exuberance, find the passion, find the creativity, create the changes that we want, and let's have fun. Thank you.